How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Oh, hey.
Hey, thanks for meeting me here. It's just, you're my only lawyer friend, and I need your professional opinion. Do you see that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there? That's all I paid for it.
Let me get back to you on that.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on all Hyundai Santa Fe models. And check out our other great deals at your Hyundai dealer today. Offer ends September 2nd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
I'm Joseph.
And I'm Nick.
This is Fish Jelly.
Oh, yes.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. Mm-hmm. So we went to go see Saw the Musical, the unauthorized parody of the 2004 film Saw.
We sure did.
It's playing at the Hudson Theaters, which is this small venue on Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood. And I think they have like 3 small theaters. The one we were in had maybe like 120 seats. So it's intimate. Mm-hmm. What did you think of Saw the Musical?
It was a lot of fun. It's very gay, which I like. And it is, of course, absurd and better than any Saw film that's ever been made.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
We sat in the front row in the splash zone, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I don't know why I don't go see more like community theater type stuff, because it is really fun to be that close to people performing. And this show, there were 3 actors. Mm-hmm. And I thought they were very good and funny. They could sing.
Yeah, they could sing better than any pop stars currently working, for sure.
How would you describe the story of this unauthorized parody musical?
It's a sexually deviant take, for sure.
Well, because if people don't, I mean, I'm not going to explain the Saw movie, but it's like torture porn. But it's about this man named Jigsaw, who's a disgruntled I guess cancer patient.
Yep, but he's dying.
Who decides that he wants to teach everyone a lesson. But this musical is just based on the first movie. So we have Jigsaw and his little puppet. We have, in the first film, it's 2 characters locked in like this industrial bathroom. It's Carrie Elwes as Dr. Lawrence Gordon, and I'm Collololologist. That's one of the songs they sing. And then there's Lee Winnell as Adam, and they're both stuck, chained to this bathroom, trying to figure out what's going on and playing Jigsaw's little games. And then we have Amanda, who is in the films portrayed by Shawnee Smith. I kind of want to rewatch the first Saw.
That's the one I haven't watched in the longest. I remember seeing that in the theater in 2004 and being very disappointed at how stupid it was. But I guess I was in the minority on that.
There was one week you were gone that I watched like 5 of the Saw movies.
Mm-hmm. And then you rewatched some of them because because of Saw 10. So I think because there were a whole bunch of them I had never seen.
And when I tell you, I don't remember
well, they're all ridiculous.
So I actually think it might be kind of fun to rewatch the first one soon, since I just watched this musical. But anyway, the bulk of the musical is Dr. Lawrence Gordon and Adam chained in this bathroom. But it's very gay because Adam is supposed to be this twink. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Lawrence Gordon is this married man who seems to... He's a little odd because he's married to a lady, having an affair with this female nurse, but then also lusting after Adam the twink. Mm-hmm. And then Amanda, that character, bounces in and out because they'll do like flashbacks trying to explain how they all got to this point locked in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. But I thought the songs were really fun.
Yeah.
The Splash Zone stuff was funny because it's not like Raging Waters or Splash Mountain at Disneyland. It's like they take these little like blood sacks and pop them.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't really, I mean, your sneezes go further than those little blood packs. So it felt like nothing.
Well, there was one point where he reached into the toilet and was flinging.
Oh, that's right. There's this disgusting toilet. And that's the only, did any get on you?
No.
Okay, a little got on me, but whatever. I mean, it's just probably food colored water.
Just hepatitis.
It's a little hepatitis. But I had a good time. I especially liked the man playing Dr. Lawrence Gordon.
Well, they have him in this Carrie Elwes fright wig.
Which is so funny to me because it's not even a wig, it's a hair hat. Because you can fully see that the actual actor has hair that's probably longer.
He breaks the fourth wall so many times.
Oh, he was really good, and his singing voice was quite nice.
Yes, and he has a dance number song with the sex doll that is his
Oh
nurse.
my gosh, that's probably, well, there are several memorable moments, but that one is definitely up there. Where, because the sex doll is wearing this like
negligee,
some raggedy little $5 outfit, and one of the breasts keeps popping out, and I don't know if it was part of the song or he was improvising.
I think that was part of the song, but those breasts on that sex doll were the ugliest breasts I've ever seen.
Well, I don't know, like you have to really be hard up to find pleasure from that particular doll.
Also, that sex doll, it is painted on her body. She's clearly a nurse. Sex, like that is
well,
her.
she had a stethoscope,
yes,
like silk screen onto her, but no vagina. But she had a usable mouth.
The mouth, I think she was a mouth breather, that one. Yeah.
And then Adam the twink,
he was cute too.
He was very cute, and I thought funny, and his character does a lot. I mean, he does a lot.
Well, and then the young woman that's playing both Amanda and Jigsaw.
Because for the first part of because for anyone who hasn't seen the first Saw, spoiler, there's a dead body in the room with Dr. Gordon and Adam, and we find out in the end that dead body is Jigsaw, and he's not really dead.
Yeah.
So for the first part of the musical, so maybe like in the first 10 minutes, you have this lady just laying on the floor, and every now, because the joke is that every now and then her body will move, or his body, but the two actors don't notice it. But then when that actor, when she has to get up to start doing other things, they put like a fake body there. And what did that fake body look like?
It looked like a desiccated husk for sure.
It looked like E.T., like it was something dehydrated and shriveled up. And then the way, because they kept changing, like flashbacks and whatnot, so she would have to remove that body and she would fold it the same way every time. And then of course, it's like a little theater. The production value is, I think that was the fun part of sitting. We were so close that, I mean, I almost felt like I was in the way.
Well, at one point she reached out and touched me. Well, we all rubbed her head for good luck, and
well, she asked the front row to rub her head, and then when she saw you, she rubbed your head.
Of course.
So we were that close, and then we were so close that my feet were like touching the stage. So I was feeling like I didn't know where to put my feet.
The only other time I've done that actually was at a play called Mrs. Farnsworth with Sigourney Weaver.
Well, when we saw Sigourney and Masha, Sonia, something, and Spike.
Vanya, Sonia, Masha, and Spike, yeah.
I felt like we were really close.
We were.
Like, it was almost kind of awkward because we were very close, and then like everyone was close together. This was at Lincoln Center in New York City. And it was a lovely, well, that's when I first met my friend Billy Magnuson, I think.
That was your introduction to Billy, yes.
Yeah, that's where we met. So but I thought that was such a good production. And then, it's kind of weird to see Sigourney Weaver so close. Her hair was fabulous.
Yeah,
we've also been close to her. Well, in Minneapolis, she gave one of those
women's talk. Yeah.
And we were the only men in there. And then we had worn coordinated outfits that were like these pastel colors. Yeah. And we were right up front. And I know she saw us because there were no other men in this like 3,000 seat theater. And I'm sure you looked crazy, and I just
Probably.
kept looking around, and I kept trying to make eye contact with her, like, look over here.
Well, we got to write down questions, so I wrote down like 10 of them. I brought things to sign. We did not get access to her at that point.
No, and then one time we went to go see like an Aliens double feature at the ArcLight.
No, Chinese.
Oh, the Chinese. I'm sorry. That's right. Yeah, at Hollywood and Highland.
Mm-hmm.
And
she did a Q&A between the films.
And so we saw her before or after?
After, because you didn't want to stay for Aliens.
Oh, but you know what? Good thing I said let's leave early, because that lady didn't stay.
Oh no, she didn't stay there.
So she was leaving as we were leaving. So we saw her getting into her, black car with the handler shuttling. What's the word? Shuttling her to this car, escorting her to this car. So she was right there. We could have accosted her.
Well, yeah, I would never do. Well, I did technically accost her at the A Monster Calls premiere party in Toronto. But yeah.
But getting back to Saw the Musical, I would be tempted to go again.
It was very fun.
If someone wants to go and take us, they can take us. But I think that we should support that. Also, it's very close to where we live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could technically walk there.
And we had a lovely dinner beforehand, but which we'll get to. But yeah, I would recommend it if people are in LA. But it's also showing in New York off Broadway, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there was a promo code, so I think it might be pretty easy to find a promo code for a discounted ticket. But our 2 front row tickets cost, I think I spent like $120 maybe.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, it was really fun. And yeah, I'm glad that we got to go. Moving on to 5 on the black hand side, 5 black filmmakers who are not Tyler Perry. Who do we have first?
Screw him. No, side note, I guess this was old news, but Tyler Perry had posted 5 movies that he likes to watch over and over again. It's like, man, you actually have, well, I'm biased because 2 of the films in his top 5 were Sigourney Weaver features. So I was like, oh, okay, man, you got some taste. And the only black film was Set It Off, if I'm recalling correctly in there, which I'm in agreement with. That as a movie you could put in at any time and watch it. Excellent.
Do you remember what his list was?
Well, Alien, Avatar, Set It Off. I think I texted you a screenshot of it.
You did.
Anyway, yeah, but it's just like, oh, so you know what a good film looks like. Why don't you want to make one like that?
Wow, because it takes time. And
yes.
Oh, his list, number 5 is The Wiz.
Oh, The Wiz. That okay. So there was Set It Off in The Wiz.
Number 4 is Set It Off.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 is Dog Day Afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is Avatar. And his favorite, 5 films that he could watch for the rest of his life. Number 1 is Alien. And he posted that in 2019. Mm-hmm. So he had already made dozens of questionable movies. But yeah, it's like all of the films are either really good or inspired. Like Avatar's a sort of technical masterpiece, like the opposite of what he makes. And then something like Dog Day Afternoon, like sort of like subversive storytelling for the time, and Set It Off is such a, like, thinking about like an ensemble cast, like how to bring characters to life and share space and do really effective casting. And then The Wiz is like this sort of magical interpretation of a beloved story. And then of course Alien, like, just the idea of like, because Alien feels so subtle but horrifying, and
it's
like visually it feels so
mounting dread.
Well, and also like watching it doesn't feel like something that was made. How old is that movie?
79.
So
45 years ago.
Yeah,
40.
Well, I'm older than that movie, but yeah, to think like for that movie to be that old and it still feels fresh. yeah, like you said, he clearly can recognize when something's good.
I remember after Prometheus came out, I remember Tyler Perry saying something. I think he didn't like it, or he said something to the effect of he should direct a sci-fi film.
Yeah, he should. So we can laugh at that too.
Well, who knows? Maybe he would feel released at not having to work within certain parameters. Who knows? He should
Time and money is what it would take for him to do something better, because we've seen like some of his earlier,
he needs to hire screenwriters and say, in 6 months get me something. He could have a stack of things in no time to just pull from. So you if you give somebody the time to write something decent, you could have a surplus waiting.
yeah, but he's done, some of his earlier stuff is better because he had more time. Like, he took more time. He wasn't so prolific back then.
Right.
So, I mean, just think like, okay, you shot a movie in 2 weeks. Imagine if you took 4 weeks. Imagine instead of writing a script in 12 hours, you took a week, like, and maybe you read over it a couple times before you said, here, print it.
What about multiple drafts and workshopping it and getting the actors' input and helping craft a character and whatever?
Right. Like, imagine.
Imagine.
Imagine what that would look like. Well, we know, I mean, it would look like his top 5 list probably. But anyway, who is number 1 on your list?
Well, they're never in any particular order for these.
Who's first?
Emmanuel Osei-Kuffor. I'm probably butchering this poor man's surname, but we reviewed his debut Black Box.
Was that with
Felicia Rashad?
Felicia Rashad. I did like that movie.
I did too.
And the lead male is a Sauvignon?
No.
Sommelier.
That's a different movie he's in.
Oh, but same actor.
Yes,
okay.
Mamadou Ati.
Okay.
Who you've seen in several many.
Oh no, Black Box is where Felicia Rashad invented something that does what?
I remember it messes with his brain in something way. It's a sci-fi horror film.
I do recall liking it though.
I did as well. Next, I swear I haven't brought this person up before because I'm keeping a running list, but sometimes people fall through the cracks. But Malcolm D. Lee.
Oh, is this a repeat? No,
I hope he's not a repeat. I don't know why I was sitting on him for so long too. He's quite prolific.
Okay.
So that's why it feels weird. I wouldn't have brought him up before as a contemporary.
I don't think we have.
Well, he did the Best Man films, of course, but Girls Trip as well.
Oh, I really liked Girls Trip when it came out.
Yeah.
I'm sure upon a rewatch, I would still find it quite enjoyable.
Yes.
Next.
Neema Barnette, who has the distinction of being the first Black woman to direct a primetime sitcom, and I guess the first Black American woman to get a 3-picture deal with Sony Pictures. So it worked a lot in television. She directed Woman Thou Art Loosed on the Seventh Day, which I can't believe I haven't seen because Pam Grier is in it. But so that is, I might need to make time.
I need to remedy that.
I do, because I've seen Woman Thou Art Loosed with Kimberly Lees. You need to look up this feature though right now. It's called Civil Brand, and I can't believe we have not watched this, but it's directed by Neema Barnette. I believe it's 2001.
Hold, please.
I think this has to be remedied.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Civil Brand. Frances is in the pen for killing her abusive husband. of whoever wrote this premise. The prisoners rise up against the new plantation that harvests human labor for profit. Nothing will stop Frances and her fellow inmates in this brutal battle for justice. Oh my God.
Look who's in it. And you know I love a women in prison film, but look who's in it.
Well, immediately I see Lisa Ray, and you know how I feel about Monica Calhoun, Clifton Powell, Tashina Arnold, Lark Voorhees, Debrat,
yeah,
MC Light. This is how I mean.
How have
we might have to do an emergency Patreon review of Civil Brand.
I can't believe. See, and you know that is kind of a nice.
That's the beauty of this segment that you've blessed us with.
Yes, like doing my own research and I'm making my own discoveries here alongside you all. But as soon as I found this film, I'm like, I'm
looking at the trailer and watching Lark Voorhees. I'm locked in.
Yeah, like how is this not more? I don't know.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm watching the trailer on silent, and this looks like we might
cinema gold.
Maybe we should open up a bottle of Gogi wine. Watch this movie.
Mm-hmm.
In honor of Kurt Russell, his vineyard, we're gonna watch Civil Brand.
Civil Brand, which my mind
also sounds like a good name, like how celebrities name their kids nonsense. Civil Brand sounds like that'd be a good name.
Sybil Shepherd Brand. Anyway, yeah, so that's a nice discovery.
Well, I'm excited to watch Neema Barnette's Civil Brand. Okay, next.
Lisa Cortes. She directed a documentary. I can't remember which. I remember when this came out. Little Richard, I Am Everything.
I don't know why I didn't watch it.
Same, but that should be on the to-do list as well.
Last but not least.
Last but not least is William Greaves, who I don't even know how to. His best known film is Symbiocytotoxoplasm Take One from 1968, which is on Criterion. So I do own a copy of it. I had no idea what I was walking into with that film, because even reading about it, I'm like, what the hell is this about? But it's very interesting and actually has some really memorable, just very raw emotional moments that are really unexpected. But in a very basic sense, this filmmaker named William Greaves, it's basically a documentary. He was auditioning acting students in Central Park, and then there are all these like weird side things that happen. I don't know. But very interesting if you haven't seen it. I also own a copy, and I haven't seen it, but I've had this on Blu-ray for years, a documentary called Nation Time, which is documenting the National Black Political Convention in Gary, Indiana in 1972. So that could be something for us to look forward to together as well.
I wonder if they mentioned the Jacksons in that.
How could you not? And Gary, and notably, he did a follow-up to Symbiocytotoxoplasm called Take 2.5 in 2005. That's also part of the Criterion release if you're interested in that at all. But yeah, kind of unclassifiable in a way. Very interesting.
Thank you for that. Okay, moving on to the restaurant section. So we tried a pizza place called Desano Pizzeria Napolitana.
Yes.
And I can't believe we never tried it before because it's very close to us.
Mm-hmm.
You go past it all the time.
Yeah, because, I usually go out on a Friday night and I kind of go to the same places, but my Uber or Lyft usually goes right by it. And I've always been very curious.
I rarely drive that direction. I mean, I'm very familiar. But like, I just can't believe that it never occurred to me to try this place. But we went, and first of all, the space is huge. There is a lot of seating, and they have a dedicated large parking lot.
Yeah,
so this is like the perfect place for me to go eat dinner.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of your food?
Cool. Well, we got a salad and a pizza.
Yeah, we got one of those mozzarella ball pizzas.
Yeah, it was good. I quite liked it. I would get more. It was hard to stop eating. But it's funny, the young man working the counter, you asked for his recommendations and we didn't take him up on any of those.
I know. I usually don't ask for recommendations unless I'm prepared to take them.
Right.
You know, like if I'm truly undecided.
Usually it's between two specific things though, of like you're going to get one of them.
Yeah, or like, you know, if like usually it's the dessert menu or where like all 4 things look fine and then it's like, oh, what's your advice? Because sometimes they'll just tell, you know, sometimes they're very honest, like, well, this ain't shit.
Because you're kind of like saying, help me maintain my boundaries with food so I can only choose one.
But yeah, I don't like white sauce in general, like pasta or pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's not good, but that wouldn't be my first thought. And so he recommended like 2 of those and then one other thing that didn't look good to me. But you ended up ordering the spicy Italian?
No, the namesake pizza. I ordered the Desano.
Oh. Which I thought was quite good.
Yeah, I liked it. I would have more because it's in the, I always messed it, the Neapolitan style. But we got a large, so I don't think I've ever had that style of pizza so large.
Yeah, I've never had that style of pizza that large. And so that large ass pizza, that entree size salad, and we got a bottle of wine.
That's right.
Our bill was like what, $70
it
or
wasn't
$60?
bad.
It was not bad.
Mm-mm.
It's the seating is like
they have dedicated spots, like if you're there with 2 or 4 people, but the larger portion in the back is like communal.
It felt like I was at summer camp.
Yeah,
but not like bad, but it definitely felt like you're eating with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of space and our food came out almost too fast, but it tasted very fresh. And so, yeah, I would absolutely go there again. That's a place to go to with people.
Yes.
Yeah. No shade to people. I always think of those videos on Instagram where people order their food and then the person packing up their food gives them like multiple serving multiple sets of silverware. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, this is just for me.
Nope, it's just me.
Okay, we ate at Formosa Cafe, which is a historical site.
Yeah, I believe Marilyn Monroe used to like to go there, right?
Yeah, it's known for a lot of celebrities going there back in the day. Humphrey Bogart and Clark Gable, Frank Sinatra. But it's right on the border of West Hollywood and Hollywood on Santa Monica. Mm-hmm. I think it's a very recognizable space. So we used to live very close to that place.
Yeah, Gardner.
And we walked, I think we ate there once.
You took me once for a birthday. I want to say it was 2015.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I recall not liking my food.
Same. I remember I got a lobster mac and cheese and it was really fishy.
So we never went back, which is, so the Formosa Cafe is at the gate, like the West Hollywood Gateway shopping mall, which I'm at very regularly. And I know we have a listener who works at a place in that plaza who I see regularly. So shout out, girl. But I'm there all the time and I never think about Formosa Cafe. But the theater that we saw the musical at is not too far away, and it was difficult. I was having a hard time thinking, where should we have dinner beforehand? That was going to be easy to park and da-da-da-da-da. So then Formosa Cafe came to mind, and I'm glad I chose it because I think we liked our food.
I did. Well, I walked in and I'm like, I don't recall it being like a Chinese restaurant.
Okay, I didn't either. So I was trying to do research, and from what I'm reading, it seems like it was always predominantly Chinese influenced.
Okay.
But I also do not remember the menu being so heavily influenced with these Chinese dishes. But I was very happy with what we ordered. We got like some spicy something or other that to me just tasted like Chinese bolognese spaghetti.
Well, the Dan noodles, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was very good. And then you ordered
some kind of sirloin with
noodles. No, it was like spare rib.
Oh, spare rib. Yeah, sure.
Noodles. And the noodles were fine, but that meat was so good. And then we got they sell like bun, like those steamed buns. I thought you got a shrimp one. I didn't taste that. Was it good?
I loved it. Yeah,
oh yeah. Good. And then we got like they had a fried chicken one that tasted like It just tastes like a fried chicken sandwich, but instead of bread, it was like that steamed bun, and then maybe a pulled pork one.
Mhm.
No, it was pork fat. And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
very
pork belly. Yeah.
pork belly. Sorry, and I thought that was really good.
Yeah, pork belly can be difficult sometimes.
I was very happy with the food.
Yeah, same.
The pricing is, what you would expect it to be.
It's a bit overpriced.
It's a little overpriced, but actually for that area and for kind of a trendy place, I guess it's not as bad as you would think. My only gripe is the seating, and I was reading that when the restaurant was, someone else took over ownership in like, I don't know, 2015. And they redid the interior, like they gutted the old 1940s interior to make it more modern.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a lot of negative reaction for that. So they basically rebuilt the original interior. So that's what we have now, is a replica of what it used to look like.
Okay.
And man, I don't think I haven't been that uncomfortable sitting in a restaurant in a very long time. Because it's like a train car.
Yeah, like the Murder on the Orient Express.
Yes, it's like that kind of. So one part of the restaurant is like that, and then they have another part that's like a lounge, and then the front part is like a bar with booths.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but there were only two of us, and it was a busy restaurant. It was busy, and we were there early.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to seat us at a big booth. They sat us at like a two-top, but the two-top, I really did. You know what it reminded me of? For my birthday several years ago, you got us a suite at the Queen Mary,
Mm-hmm.
the ship, and then we went to like Harbor Horror Nights.
Yeah,
but that suite in the Queen Mary, which was quite big, it felt like we were in the Queen Mary, like everything's smaller.
Mm-hmm.
like were people smaller back then? I guess they were. But yeah, that seating, I don't know. It was bad enough that if we went again and we couldn't sit at like a table or a booth, I would say that we're not going to eat. Like I can't do that again.
Okay.
I felt like I was sitting on the hardest wooden bench and I was sitting upright, like I was being punished at church.
Oh.
Were you comfortable in that?
Those
seat?
were puritanical chairs.
Were you comfortable?
I was okay. I was very hungry and I was really into my food, I think.
Oh, not the company.
Well, always the company, but I had my little...
Always?
Yeah, come on now.
So now you want to lie on this recording? Okay.
I'm not lying. Please. I was enjoying
Who wouldn't love to eat dinner with me?
Exactly. I was drinking my Taiwanese beer, enjoying myself.
Oh, also, if people want to take us to dinner, we, an hour max. I'm not sitting for 3 hours.
We eat like we're being we're fugitives.
Yes.
So
we eat very fast, and then I'm not going to be held captive. So 1 hour.
And I was listening to when we were wrapping up, there was a very strange woman that was seated across from us that,
bless her,
I feel like she needed a friend to tell her that maybe she wasn't ready to splurge.
Well, here's the thing. I'm very frugal. And so I appreciate people wanting to know how much things are going to cost. And I will, we eat at places where the prices are not on the menu. And so I will either ask or I just won't order the thing. Like, I'm not going to be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not making fun of like people asking how much stuff costs. But I think when you have to ask like, how much will this be with tax? And what if, it was kind of like that Chris Rock skit from the early 90s on SNL when he's like, what if I get like chicken wings are $5? Good Lord, that's a lot of money. How many I get for that? 3? What if I get 1 chicken wing? Like, that's kind of the vibe.
Yeah, like she's bartering with the waiter. Like, oh.
And then I felt bad because then the server, I'm sure, is thinking like, damn sure I'm not going to get a decent tip.
Right.
And then the other thing is like, these items were not cheap.
No.
So it's like, if you're concerned about price that much, you could probably make your dollar go a lot further somewhere else.
But then she was being real weird about shrimp with the host. Then who she was trying to order shrimp with, and the host is like, "Your server will be right here, ma'am." And then she well, because we were in close proximity. I wasn't trying to.
That's because everything's so small in there.
Yes, but then she didn't order the shrimp. Like
no, and then you went to the restroom, and then I got to hear the second part, and it was her ordering like spring rolls and like Chinese chicken salad or something, and then was weird about the kind of, she wanted like apricot plum sauce, and they're like, we don't serve that here.
Girl, you better go run yourself down to Ralph's and get some. You can have it in your purse.
I don't know. I'm going to elaborate on this in a minute, but watching people at restaurants is probably my favorite part because people are so effing weird.
Straight dude sharing food.
Oh, we're going to get to that. Don't worry.
Oh my. But I just kind of wanted to lean over and be like, girl, Mendocino Farms is right there. Maybe you should, that might be, that might work out better for you.
Well, then part of me thinks like it's an act.
I don't know.
Because I don't trust anyone. I feel like.
But for whom? The server?
I don't know. I think sometimes people act that way because they think they're going to get more, or I just don't trust. Like,
see, I don't think that if I'm in charge and you act that way, I will actively resort to giving you less.
When I used to do hair, I worked at a place where I had no control over like people would just walk in, and then it's like, oh, Joseph, you have an appointment right now, and it's like, I don't know who the person is. And I remember one time this guy came in, and he was like this smallish guy. He didn't look disheveled, but he just looked like, getting a haircut is probably not the first thing he needs to worry about. And then he was like being very particular about the pricing, and then everyone's prices were different. So he was like, he was acting kind of similar to this lady. And then he didn't want, like, someone was too much, and then the other person didn't want to do his hair, and then other people were like, we don't want to do him, we don't want to do him. So then it was like, well, Joseph can do him. And it's like, okay, like, no problem. Like, I'll cut his hair. Cutting men's hair is, at that time, probably the thing that I felt least stressed out about. So I'm like, well, this is great. Because I can handle weirdos, and then I'm doing something that's not too stressful. But long story short, he was a very nice man, and he just said, I'm really uncomfortable. Like he had social anxiety, and that it's like he doesn't know why he acts like that, and that it's not that he doesn't have money. He does have money, but that man tipped me like 3 times the cost of the haircut and said, thank you for being nice, because most people won't even. So that's a positive example of that. But I've also had examples where it's like, you are really acting weird about money, and I just saw you get into like a brand new S-Class Mercedes, or like you're carrying like a Louis Vuitton bag with the matching wallet and keychain, and you're complaining about an extra $10 for like this treatment or something. It just, so I don't know. I kind of felt bad for her, but I also felt like maybe you need to just hop on over next door where you can get 3 times the amount of food for the same price. Like, if you're hurting for money, this is not the place you should be eating.
Right.
But anyway, moving on. We went to the Griddle Cafe.
That's right.
Which I think is a very popular breakfast spot in Hollywood. Well, I guess West Hollywood.
I thought they moved at one point.
I thought they did too. To the point where we hadn't been in how many years?
It's, God.
10? More?
The last time I remember being there was maybe like 2016.
So I thought they had moved as well. And it's right across the street from my favorite Starbucks, which I'm at all the time. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't until last week that I noticed people waiting in line. And that's when it hit me like, OMG, they're still open. Mm-hmm. So then we went for breakfast, and they're known for their pancakes and French toast. Mm-hmm. And I think it's worth, if this sounds interesting to people, to Google the Griddle Cafe Sunset and look at pictures of their breakfast items, because these pancakes are ridiculous.
They are.
They are ridiculous. Someone had ordered something that looked like, those pancakes, didn't it look like 2 like 9-inch yellow cakes?
You're basically eating a cake. Yeah, if you get a 3-stack, you're eating a cake. Mm-hmm.
No, but like legit a cake. Mm-hmm. Like it's like 4 inches thick, and as big as like a 9-inch.
And they overlap the plates. So yeah.
Actually bigger than that, because they overlap the plates, and then they're like embellished with all kinds of stuff. Like, I mean, they have a Snickers one that I'm certain they cut up like 4 Snickers bars and like just put on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we ordered the bourbon one, which was like the actual pancake was like coconut and oats.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was topped with the largest dollop of like vanilla bourbon whipped cream and caramel. I don't know if the bourbon was active.
You could taste it.
But it was so strong. Did you like those pancakes?
I did, yeah.
I did too. I was a little jealous because ours looked less decadent than some of the other ones, but then I thought we don't need.
You were having
to be
FOMO.
eating a
You were having
cake for
FOMO.
Well, I'm glad that we didn't go ham because I would have felt really gross.
Yes, I am too.
And then you ordered some sort of scramble that was really good.
Some like it hot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, it's popular for a reason, and the prices are, for the amount of food you get.
It's like a rum cake, the one we got almost.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But this is where we eat out a lot. And it didn't occur to me, it hit me like a ton of bricks when we were sitting at the Griddle Cafe. A few things. You already mentioned it. But watching straight guys share food is so funny to me. But because I don't know. It like they just act like, oh, it's weird to like the way they would like push their plate and like kind of like, I'm not touching the plate, and like you can, and don't touch it with the fork that you already. It was very interesting.
It's how do we make this the least intimate experience possible? Because we were also at an ice cream place on Larchmont, and these
oh my gosh,
straight dudes sharing an ice cream. Like
so they started off with, there's this bakery near the gelato place we were, and that bakery is very mid.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that. But those guys had stopped there and got some pastries and then stopped at the ice cream shop. And so they were sitting across from us, and they had opened up their pastry box.
Mm-hmm.
And them trying to share like a chocolate croissant was painful. It was just like, yeah, it's too intimate to like, we both touch it, and but they didn't have anything to cut it with. And then they got up and asked us, because they were sitting on like an uncomfortable bench.
Mm-hmm.
So they asked if they could share the table with us, which I was kind of surprised.
I was too, but I was sure, great.
And then they sat down, and then like did they even taste each other's ice cream? I feel like they were talking about it.
I was trying to avert my eyes from
I think they were talking about it in that way that's like I sure would like to try that, but I guess I can't. Like, yeah. I imagine that's what it's like when straight men are trying to be sexual with gay men and they're beating around the bush.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you want to taste this chocolate or what? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. The other thing I noticed is a lot of, and I noticed this in general, but sometimes you see couples and it's clear that the one is making more of an effort than the other in every way. Like, you put on like a cute little outfit and you did your hair and you're there sitting and you're present. You're not looking at your phone.
You're talking about the female experience.
Well, I mean, yeah, like, well, but and then the man is sitting there wearing dirty cargo shorts and an ill-fitting t-shirt, and he's wearing flip-flops with dirty, overly long toenails hanging out. And then he's eating like,
he's got his feed bag on.
Like if pigs could hold forks, that's what he looks like. And while talking or looking at his phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that a lot. And I just thought, like, I don't know. I feel bad for, it's not just ladies. I mean, it's not. You see a lot of couples where it's like the one is trying to like, I guess, the overwhelming feeling that came over me was like, I think sometimes people need to be considerate of like, do you think your significant other is like proud to be with you? Like because I told a story to you about an old coworker who, the way she would talk about her husband, I thought that when I finally meet him, I was going to be meeting Henry Golding.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was going to be meeting this super attractive man who's like, just like, I'm not going to be able to take my eyes off of him, and he's going to captivate me. I'll be speechless.
Instead, it was Clint Howard.
Child with a cold sore. He like, I mean, it was just like the most like, just, that's your man? Wow. And then but I felt also like, did he, like, I don't know. I think I have strong feelings about that.
Your coworker sounds like she was a Stepford wife.
But just in general, I think maybe people need to. Now, if both of y'all are raggedy, then that's fine, right? Like if both of y'all are like the best of the worst, then I guess it's fine. But it's so weird to see couples where one is trying to keep it together and the other one just doesn't.
I saw an article. People are so crazy. There's an article in reference to some couple about how they're a mixed weight couple. My God.
Like one's big and one's skinny?
Exactly. That's so shitty. Like they're representing a mixed weight couple. Like, okay.
Well, there is something practical about like what if I weighed 500 pounds?
Uh-huh.
And you're you.
I am, after all, me. It's working girl.
Because then it's like, I mean, there are a lot of episodes of my 600-pound life where
I would certainly not enable you to get to 500 pounds.
Well, but I don't know, all those couples, and it, because it's easier. And if you love them and it's like, well, if this makes them happy and also, I mean.
Heller, we've been eating broccoli turmeric soup for 3 nights in a row.
No, but I'm saying like if you got big all of a sudden.
Not going to happen. Whitney will never be fat. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen to me. And I would definitely assist you on not getting there yourself.
You don't help me now. What are you talking
about? What? A little treat here and there is okay.
A little treat? You give me a treat every day.
A little. Well, you got to keep the monster at bay.
So see, that's my point. That's my point, that if I got bigger.
You wouldn't get okay.
I mean, I don't know. It's an interest. I mean, that the story you just shared, the thought of it sounds kind of ridiculous, like a mixed weight couple. But I do think in practicality, there is something to be said for like when couples are very, like when they're diametrically opposed in some way, that dynamic is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, even, I mean, just thinking about like heterosexual couples, like, and sort of the stereotype of like the woman having to drag the man out to do something, right? Because he doesn't want to go see this movie or this play or this, or go have dinner with the friend. I mean, that's always the thing. And it's just like, well, I don't know. Like, does your person have to like everything you like? No. Should your person show up for the things you like? Sometimes, I think. Like, I don't think it can be like, I'm never going to do.
Right. Yeah.
But I also think it's like, maybe you shouldn't expect your person to do things they don't like to do and then get upset when they're not enjoying it.
Right.
But then you see couples and it's like, she doesn't look like we were sitting next to one couple, and that, first of all, the Griddle Cafe is like, you show up knowing you're going to eat 5,000 calories.
You show up knowing that you might be pre-diabetic after you leave.
So this lady comes in with her man, and he looked like a shaved bear.
He looked like ancestor of DJ Khaled, yeah.
And she was very well put together. You could tell she had taken some hot tools to her hair, and she had put on a little mascara, a little eyeliner, and she was trying to sit nice. And then this poor lady ordered egg whites, tomatoes, and turkey bacon the Griddle Cafe.
No fun. Mm-mm.
That's like going to the crack house and getting a Kit Kat bar. Like, I mean, it just doesn't even make sense. But she's sitting there trying to be cute and present, and then her man is just shoveling food. And then for like a long period of time, he kept showing her these expensive phones on his watch, or on expensive watches on his phone. Like, can you believe this watch is $37,000? Can you believe this watch is $43,000? And she's just trying to seem interested. And I felt so bad for her.
And it's 8 a.m. Like, ugh.
Yeah, we had to get there early to avoid waiting. And
the straight dudes that were sharing something behind us, one of them went up. One of them, he was,
I'm
usually oblivious to most of these things, but you made a comment when he was clearly getting up to run to the bathroom.
Cool, because he had gotten up and then he grabbed some like wet naps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like not wet naps, like the kind you wipe your butt with.
Mm-hmm.
We use dude wipes, but they weren't dude wipes. They were like, so what do you call them? What do you call those wipes? Just like moist towelettes?
Yeah.
Like baby wipes.
Like a side topic, I think, would be, I remember you were listening to Delta.
Delta, yeah,
like
she
had a good point about why do they kind of be called dude wipes? Like, why do they have to be marketed that way? So,
well, I don't mind it as someone who works in brand marketing because I think it's, you're identifying your audience. You're also making it seem like it's something they need. And also you're targeting an audience who maybe isn't as clean as the opposite sex.
Sure, but it's just like, okay, they're just wet naps. Okay?
How many times have you been in the bathroom and there's some man taking a mean shit, and then you hear them finish, you hear that toilet paper roll like they grab 2 squares, and then it's a flush and they're out of there. There is no way.
There's no way
you cleaned the Glitter Gulch with 2 squares, one pass with 2 squares. There's no way.
The Gary Glitter Gulch. Yeah.
So, I mean, and then the dude wipes are bigger than regular baby wipes.
Yes.
Because, man hands, whatever. But this straight dude got up and grabbed his baby wipes, and he was in that bathroom forever.
I want to say it was probably a good 15 minutes.
And then his cohort got up and did the same thing. He was in there forever. But I was laughing because I'm like, I know restaurants like the Griddle Cafe, people blow up those toilets because that food is not meant to stay in you too long, right?
Right.
That food is meant to upset your insides.
Yep. Your body's like, get it out. What are you doing?
Because that scramble you ordered, it was very tasty, but that meat, it was spicy, and then all that dairy and all that. And then if that bourbon was real, like.
I mean, when
I got home, I had to take some time to myself.
When you get that, that brown liquor taste, and it's like,
Okay, I've been talking way too long about nothing. Moving on to films released we didn't cover.
Charming segue.
Kill the Jockey.
Oh, that's the only one I put on here. This Argentinian filmmaker named Luis Ortega, whose previous film, very queer and worth watching, called Angel. His new one stars Nahuel Perez Biscayart, and I saw it in Venice where it was in competition, and it kind of perplexed a lot of people. It's definitely a weird film that I think desires to be viewed more than once, but basically it's about this horse jockey, and it's a very sexually fluid film that kind of upends itself, if I remember correctly, midway through, and it has one hell of a dance sequence that I quite liked. But we did not make time for that this week, but here it is. It has arrived for us to see.
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
This episode is brought to you by Starbucks. Smooth, bright, deliciously crafted. Introducing Starbucks Sansera Blend, their smoothest, brightest coffee yet. It's a new kind of light roast, one that's packed with so much flavor, it shines no matter how you brew it. So go ahead and try it hot, iced, black, or with a splash of creamer. Visit athome.starbucks.com/Sansera-blend-coffee to bring Starbucks Sansera Blend home.
Okay, this past week on our Patreon, we reviewed In the Heat of the Night and The World According to Garp.
Yes.
I think those two are really good episodes.
I think we both gave 4 stars to both of those movies.
Spoiler. So people can give us money to listen to those. Unfortunately, there are entries in the obituary section. I feel so silly because yesterday we did a live review of Point Break. And in the latter half of the review, when we're going through the comments, there were many comments about Julian McMahon. Well,
what's crazy is the day we watched Point Break, we were talking about the Nick Cage movie, The Surfer. And I'm like, oh, who played the antagonist again? And it's Julian McMahon. And I brought his picture up, and then we had the live the same day. I thought that's why people were talking about it.
I was confused. Like, why do people keep bringing up Julian McMahon? But the news had dropped that Julian McMahon had died, like in real time. So I wasn't trying to ignore the death of Julian McMahon, I just wasn't aware. And then, the comment section gets out of control for me. So I'm sure someone said, hey, what do you guys think of his passing? But I didn't see that. But Julian McMahon is an Australian actor who is probably best known for
Nip Tuck
and Charmed. And then he was in those Fantastic
terrible
Four films.
The ones with Jessica Alba.
Yeah, but he died. He was quite young, 56.
Yeah, I guess he had cancer. But what's crazy is The Surfer just came out. Like, what, 2 months ago?
Yeah. But he was battling cancer quietly.
Yeah.
So, also, I didn't know this until just this minute, but he used to be married to Danny Minogue.
Oh,
so that means Kylie Minogue is his sister-in-law. Or was his sister-in-law. I didn't know that.
Danny.
Wow. So goodbye to Julian McMahon. And then an English film and television actor named Kenneth Colley died. He is best known for roles in some Star Wars films. And I think he was in a Monty Python film.
Oh, yes.
He died at the age of 87.
Yeah, you don't really love the Star Wars films, but his face is instantly recognizable from that. But yeah, Life of Brian. We never watched Peaky Blinders, but.
And then American televangelist Jimmy Swaggart died.
Oh.
He was vehemently anti-LGBT. So
I was Helen Keller about his death. So
I wonder what Jesus has to say about his behavior. Anyway, lastly, Michael Madsen died suddenly at the age of 67
last summer.
He's very recognizable to me, and he's in a lot of very recognizable films. What do you think he's most known for?
His body work with Tarantino for sure.
So like Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, that's when I think of him, that is the first thing I think of. Is him cutting off somebody's ear in Reservoir Dogs. Species, of course, is a favorite, but I also can't think about him without thinking of his sister, Virginia.
Oh, sure, yes, and I do know who that is.
Yeah,
we reviewed a movie with her for Patreon.
Was it Candyman?
No, isn't she in?
It was a really bad film with Rutger Hauer.
Yes, and I don't recall the premise. Here, keep talking. I'm gonna look it up.
It's from 1991.
It's worth finding because someone selected it for us to view.
Is it called Lying in Wait?
Lying in Wait.
Wow, I can't believe I pulled that out. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the premise: a young man comes out of a coma in a semi-vegetative state, and though he can't move, he gets his roommate to help him kill those that wronged him. The person who selected it, they might have been new to us, maybe, because they were like, "Do you guys are you okay reviewing something that's like kind of trashy bad?" It's like,
oh, of course,
that's all I would want to watch. What are you talking about? But anyway, getting back to Michael Madsen.
I mean, he was one of those actors that was like Danny Trejo. Even his who he co-starred with in a lot of films, Tom Sizemore, who's also dead. I think were just they were working prolific actors, but a lot of stuff in his filmography is also not good. Like there are a lot of things with Michael Madsen that I will never see. I remember maybe the second year we lived in LA, and I was kind of starting to get access to all kinds of stuff, and it was Oscar season, and I was really excited, because every country for now known as international feature category has a film they submit, and I had the chance to go to all these screenings, and I think it was Montenegro, like whatever Montenegro's section was this one year, it was this really bad film starring Michael Madsen, and I'm like, I can't believe we have Academy voters watching this trash. It was anyway. I think he also always kind of wanted to be Elvis, kept that hair dark for a long time. But he's also the kind of person, when you see his face, you're like, oh, you kind of know what you're going to get. He was often very sinister. He could be kind. There's that Free Willy performance, but
well, goodbye to Michael Madsen. Okay, so the secret film this week was my choice, and I chose the 2003 martial arts action film Kill Bill Volume 1, written and directed by a prolific N-word user, Quentin Tarantino. Why did I choose this movie? Because every time you mention I haven't seen it.
You mentioned you hadn't seen it.
Yeah, but you'll also say like he hasn't seen Kill Bill, or you'll go like,
Sure.
well, I know you haven't seen Kill Bill, and then we get comments like he hasn't seen Kill Bill. And then I saw Michael Madsen had died. So I looked up like his most known movies, and Kill Bill was like number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, oh, perfect timing. I'll watch Kill Bill Volume 1.
Well, also,
he is only in this movie for 5 seconds.
Well, as soon as it ended, I'm like, are we going to watch Volume 2 now? Because that's where you're going to see him.
No.
Okay.
But he's in it technically, so I honored his memory.
Well, I told you should select Reservoir Dogs because I knew that you would need to watch both if we're watching it for him.
I just wanted to get this out of the way because I'm so damn tired of people.
Well, I think it's also of note, the timing wise, is we just reviewed The Old Guard 2 with Uma, which is terrible, to say the least. And
We'll get to it, but there's sort of a similar structure. Okay, for people who don't know, what is Kill Bill Volume 1 about? A former assassin known as the Bride awakens from a coma after a brutal betrayal. Seeking vengeance, she begins a deadly quest to eliminate her ex-colleagues, leading to blood-soaked battles and stylized martial arts showdowns. That is the movie. It is like, it's very simple. Uma Thurman plays this former assassin whose name we don't learn in the movie, the first one. And it looks like on her wedding day, she is attacked by this ominous mystery person named Bill and his assassins, and left for dead. But she didn't die.
Mm-hmm.
She ended up in a coma for 4 years.
Of note, the group is called the Deadly Vipers Assassination Squad.
Also of note, she's very pregnant when she gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not dead. She's actually in a coma. She understands she's lost her baby. She wakes up suddenly, and all she has on her mind is she wants to get revenge on the people responsible for this. And so she has her kill list, and there are 5 people on it. And so in this movie, she kills 2 of those people.
Mm-hmm.
The end.
Yep.
So
And
she has 3 more to go.
3 more to go. Yeah, she's still got to do Bud, L. Driver, and Bill.
And at the very end of the film, we see Bud, played by Michael Madsen. And then he just says a couple things. And then we learn, like, oh, does Uma Thurman know that her baby's not dead?
Yes, Sophie Fatale, who has survived a massacre, is telling Bill.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I think it's excellent. Mm-hmm.
I do think you need to watch both because
Yes.
it's like, it just ends. It doesn't end in a disappointing way like The Old Guard 2, which is insane. Like, I didn't care for The Old Guard. I know people liked it. But then to wait 5 years and then come out with The Old Guard 2, which is, I think, a mess.
Yes.
And then it just ends in a very similar way where it's like, oh, so we need to start the movie. That like
Mm-hmm.
The Old Guard 2 ends where the movie probably should start.
Mm-hmm.
Kill Bill Volume 1 does not feel like that. I did feel like I was on a journey, and I did feel like I understood the characters. And, you know, even though it's very simple, like, okay, she killed 2 of the 5, so the next movie will be the other 3. It did feel like an adventure. My biggest thought overall is like, you know, they don't make movies like this anymore. Because this feels like,
well, arguably Tarantino does. But
well, no, I mean, and people do, like, when it just feels like this is what filmmaking looks like. Like, it feels like someone really loves cinema.
Yeah.
They have a very specific style. They took their time. There are clearly a lot of things that feel self-indulgent, which,
Yeah,
you know,
he is a self-indulgent filmmaker. But again, I don't mind that when somebody has kind of a unique vision.
well, I mean, you know, sometimes it's like an inside joke where it's like, this is getting a little tired, but I respect it because it's like, well, you know, because we reviewed a movie called The Sound, and we gave it 0.5 out of 5, and
Yeah.
it has like a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so bad that I wanted to research the director, so I found he did a bunch of like Zoom interviews that you can find on YouTube. But of course, all these, YouTube channels who want to do interviews have to pretend they like stuff. So they're like, this movie was great. What inspired you to do it? And the director's like, well, I used to rock climb, and, rock climbing doesn't scare me, but people seem to be scared by it. So I thought, hey, why not make a movie about rock climbing? It'll be scary. Like, that's how he described his movie. Like, so uninspired.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, Tarantino feels like the opposite, like the exact opposite of that. Like, very into what he's, then you shared this video of Quentin Tarantino talking to his then girlfriend, Fiona Apple.
Yeah.
And he seems insufferable.
Yes.
So as an individual to have a one-on-one relationship with, I'm sure he's a nightmare. But as an artist, it's like, I kind of want that. Like, I want someone to be really into their shit. Like,
yeah, I want that. But and again, to work with people, especially for a limited amount of time, doable. But to date somebody, because I did attend the press conference of The Hateful Eight to be in close proximity to Kurt to honor my mother. But even how Quentin handles the press is very, I thought, insufferable. Like, oh, you're not a king holding court, in the way that he was. I don't need that. I don't need that from him.
Although I think I've seen. How well do I know his filmography? Let me see here.
I think you should know.
I've seen
well.
Pulp Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Jackie Brown. I've seen Death Proof. I've seen Inglourious Bastards. I've seen Django Unchained. And I've seen The Hateful Eight.
So you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or Reservoir Dogs, his first and to date last?
Or Kill Bill Volume 2.
Well, that is, I feel, imminent now.
So I'm pretty familiar with his work.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I called him a prolific N-word user.
Well, it's true.
I mean, I have liked all of the movies of his I've seen.
I don't dislike any of his movies, no.
Yeah, so I mean, if he's going to act like that, he certainly can back it up. Like, and he clearly loves film.
Well, yeah, arguably all of his films are kind of a bit of pastiche, and everything is, not unlike how RuPaul is a witpicker, right? Like, everything that he is magnifying is really influenced or taken from somewhere else, including with the soundtrack.
But not unlike RuPaul, I think it's not only is it tolerable, but it's enjoyable because it's...
Well, because he has a taste level that I think is fun and irreverent.
Well, and he has a love for it. RuPaul's reciting things that clearly resonate with him. It's not like when you listen to comedians who are clearly stealing jokes, and it's like, I don't think that you're funny. I think like what you're saying is funny because someone else who is funny said it first. Like some comedians come across like, oh, I think that you're like playing a comedian.
Right.
Whereas some people are just like, oh, they're just really good at this. And I think despite him, all of his work being chock full of references, I mean, you still have to be quite skilled and have a pretty amazing vision to put it all together. So I would say, based on all the movies of his I've seen, I think he's a very talented filmmaker.
He is. I think Kill Bill in there is his least... Well, I mean, people clearly had problems with the violence, which I think is so outlandish that it doesn't really...
The violence in this film?
Yeah. Well, that's
I
why
don't think it's that bad.
Well, that's why it goes to black and white. By the way, they are releasing both films together and in color.
I know you tried to get me to go, but I don't know that I mean, now that I've seen the first one, I probably could have sat through both because I did enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thought of sitting through 4.5 hours.
But this film it's pure. Well, it's such a simple, it's just a straight up revenge narrative, but it's probably it's like a train ride. It's just purely entertainment. Whereas, I think all of his other films, you can kind of nitpick or, choose to be offended at some of the other stuff in them. But so I love Kill Bill Volume 1. I think Kill Bill Volume 2, I love Elle Driver, Daryl Hannah, and you get more of her. But my favorite still is Jackie Brown.
I'm just going to go through some talking points really quick before I go through my notes. So Tarantino has described this movie as a roaring rampage of revenge. Aren't most of his movies about revenge? It seems like that's a theme that he it's kind of scary. Like, don't cross Quentin Tarantino.
Well, especially in Inglourious Bastards, Django, those are revisionist revenge fantasies, right?
Well, even Jackie Brown is like, she's figuring out a way to.
Well, she's also stuck in a hard place. She's in a catch-22, so she's figuring out how to come up on top and play. What's that saying about?
I feel like Quentin Tarantino is always rooting for the underdog or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I mean, I also
he's rooting for the underdog, but there's also, I think, he kind of. I think I became really apparent with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with how they treat the representation of Bruce Lee in that film. Like he kind of tarnishes the people of color that he's also upholding a lot of times. I've had many conversations with people about Tarantino, and that always kind of comes up. And I think there's enough evidence to support that, but maybe that's subconscious on his part. I don't know.
Did Uma Thurman and Quentin Tarantino date? I don't know, but because I'm thinking that because apparently the two of them came up with her character in this movie during the production of Pulp Fiction.
I think maybe they did date back then. I thought he was with Mira Sorvino back then.
Oh,
because I used to.
That's why
look at my grandmother's W magazines, and I remember seeing them together.
That's why Uma has a story by credit for this movie.
Well, then also during the whole Me Too downfall of Weinstein, Tarantino released that footage of Uma driving and got for Kill Bill Volume 2. There's a lot of driving sequences, and she got in a really bad car accident. Maybe there was some kind of negligence going on, and Tarantino gave her the raw footage and said she could release that whenever she wanted.
Oh,
so I think there's a complex history between them, of course.
In this film, Uma Thurman's character's real name is bleeped out.
Beatrix Kiddo is the actual name.
Spoiler, because you don't learn that until the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's funny because we reviewed something where the person underwent like months of Point Break, that Keanu did all this training for surfing, and it doesn't really show. But Uma training in martial arts, it does show because she, it appears like she's doing a lot, and she had given birth right before she started that training.
Mm-hmm.
And then you already mentioned this, but there's the House of Blue Leaves sequence where Uma Thurman kills this like Yakuza type gang.
The crazy 88.
Like all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it was so bloody that in order to not get like a NC-17 rating, Quentin Tarantino had to make that scene black and white.
Isn't that so stupid?
Well, it's stupid because it's like, well, we still see what's happening.
Well,
it's
right.
Just, I can see that people are getting decapitated and limbs cut off and gutted and
these stupid, nonsensical censorship rules.
So it can't be in color. Okay. And then speaking of anime, since people always ask about anime, my least favorite part of this film is Lucy Liu's character, but I think there's a sequence where Lucy Liu's character's backstory is told via anime.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually liked that segment.
I think it's and that's extremely violent as well. So I don't mind Lucy Liu in this. I think it feels like she's kind of given the least, especially considering we get the most time backstory on her. But I don't mind her. Apparently, Tarantino originally was going to cast a Japanese actress, but it was so moved by Lucy Liu in Shanghai Noon, which I've never seen, by the way, that he reconfigured it to get her.
And then lastly, I really liked the soundtrack.
Well, all of his soundtracks are really
and I
good.
like that about him, is that he clearly, again, it's like someone has a vision and it's very clear. But I think the most sort of like the best selection is Nancy Sinatra's Bang Bang, which apparently that was the last song to be chose. Like he didn't lock that selection in until right before the final cut was made.
Okay.
So, but it feels so perfect. It opens the film and then we hear it again a little bit later. Okay, I'm just going to start going through my notes. I had never seen this movie, so I didn't realize that Lady Gaga's telephone video with Beyonce is very heavily influenced by
the Pussy Wagon,
Kill Bill and Pulp Fiction. Well, because not only the Pussy Wagon, but the Kill List.
Yes.
And then, of course, it's stylized like a Tarantino movie. But I felt so stupid because when we see the pussy wagon, I was like, wait a minute, that's the telephone video. And then I read that in the telephone video, Tarantino let Lady Gaga borrow the actual pussy wagon,
Mm-hmm.
which people who don't know is like a yellow Chevy truck
with a red interior. Well, and the timing maybe was also fortuitous because, and I forgot to bring this up in our Megan 2.0 review, but Megan's little outfit at the end of that movie, I believe, is a reference to what Uma's yellow jumpsuit itself, which is taken from Bruce Lee in the film Game of Death.
Okay, this movie starts off with a bang, not only because of the Nancy Sinatra song, but Vivica Fox is the first person on Uma's kill list. And I'm really bummed that we don't get more of Vivica because I thought their dynamic, that scene, Vivica's like energy, and she looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, y'all gave all that time to Lucy Liu. I would have preferred that.
Vernita Green
needed more time.
Well, I love that. And I wouldn't have known this at the time when I remember the first time I saw this when it opened theatrically was it was a theater, I think, in Roseville, but it wasn't the Harmar Mall. It was down the street, something called Crossroads. There was another mall with a theater, and that's where I saw this with somebody that was a roommate that I lived with 3 people, and the 2 of us had to kick him out because he was stealing from us. Anyway, Kill Bill.
Raggedy.
I wouldn't have known this at the time, but Vernita Green's alias when we meet
her. Don't do a little girl.
You city's little girl.
Brick. No.
Is Jeannie Bell.
Oh.
Remember, because, well, of course, they're at the Bell's residence and they're in Pasadena.
That's right.
But Jeannie Bell, of course, is a callback to a famous blaxploitation actress because Jeannie Bell played TNT Jackson.
Hey, business owners, we know you know the importance of maximizing every dollar. With the Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business American Express card, you can make your expenses work just as hard as you. From afternoon coffee runs to stocking office supplies and even team dinners, you can earn miles on all your business expenses. Plus, you can earn 110,000 bonus miles for a limited time through July 16th. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business Card. If you travel, you know. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply. Offer ends 7/16/25.
Have you ever spotted McDonald's hot, crispy fries right as they're being scooped into the carton? And time just stands still. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah, I loved Vivica. She's probably my favorite part of the movie. I really like Uma Thurman too.
Yes, but Vivica is... Oh, back up. Do you know who wrote Bang Bang?
No.
Sonny Bono.
Watch out for that tree. That's how your daddy died. That's what we used to yell outside of Chaz Bono's house back in the day.
Oh my God. I remember that. Well, it was like a compound in West Hollywood.
Yeah, to be clear, I was young and with friends and we were being stupid and we would stay at a hotel that was like up the street from Chaz Bono's house in West Hollywood. And we only started doing that because one time we were walking by their house and they made a comment like, you can't be here. We were just walking on the sidewalk. Like we were not doing anything to that house.
Oh.
In fact, we didn't even know it was their house until they popped out and said something. So then being immature kids, we would say that subsequently. But anyway, okay.
I think as we were watching this, I said it was Kiki Lane, but the more I thought about it, I believe, if my memory is correct, Amanda Stenberg has been the one trying to coerce Quentin Tarantino into casting her as Vernita Green's daughter if he were to make Kill Bill Volume 3, because that is a really fun moment where Uma Thurman's like, if you're still feeling raw about it when you're older, you can come find me.
Daryl Hannah's in the movie. She's one of the people on Uma's kill list, although she doesn't get to her in Volume 1. But I thought Daryl, when we first meet her, she's walking into the hospital where Uma's in the coma with the idea that she's going to kill her. And I loved Daryl's outfit. She's wearing this white like skirt set, but then it's like has this like graphic design on it to make it look like a suit. And then she's wearing a patch on her eye. And then we see her change to like a nurse's outfit so she can go into Uma's room and inject her with something to kill her.
Well, and then a shot kind of like, well, I thought of De Palma, but because it does a split screen. but also like an old giallo film a bit. And of course the theme is famous that she's whistling. That's the Elle Driver theme.
Oh,
that's actually, again, because Tarantino plunders all these obscure kind of cinematic artifacts, and then they become famous again after he uses them, right? And this was an excellent instance of that, because that's a Bernard Herrmann score from a movie called Twisted Nerve. But I've heard so many people have that as a ringtone.
Oh. So Daryl's character is about to kill Uma by injecting something into her IV when she gets a call from Bill saying, don't kill her. She doesn't deserve to die like this. And so Daryl's pissed. But then we get another, this, for being such a basic plot there, it is a like kind of a thrill ride for most of it, because we move from that to, we find out, and it's all this is a very adult and upsetting story, very violent, but we find out that the 4 years that, well, we don't know how long, but the 4 years Daryl Hannah was in this coma, there was an orderly at the hospital, this guy who was pimping out her comatose body.
Yeah, when Uma was in the coma, yeah.
Oh, Uma, sorry. And that's very upsetting.
Buck.
But and the only thing that makes it palatable is that she's gonna get his ass. And so we meet this orderly as he has just sold her for $75 to this man who was actually quite good looking. It's like, why are you doing this? But
that isn't he one of Adam Sandler's buddies? He's in all those Adam Sandler movies.
Oh. But then of course, right as
Jonathan Loughran.
Right before Buck comes in, Uma had awakened from her coma. But then, her assassin instincts kick in when she hears someone walk into the room. So she pretends to be in a coma again. She hears everything that's about to be done to her. And so, of course, she deals with both of them. But I thought that scene, of course, it's like very upsetting, but it was very satisfying in the end. And it's important because Buck, who has the F word tattooed on his knuckles, and I'm going to use the F word one time for this podcast. His motto is, I'm Buck and I'm here to fuck. But the pussy wagon belongs to him. So when after Uma kills him, she goes and gets his pussy wagon, but she's been in a coma for 4 years, so her legs don't work. Like, I guess the muscles have atrophied. So she makes her way out to the parking lot in a wheelchair and gets into the pussy wagon. And then we see that she spends 13 hours willing her limbs to work. I thought that was pretty good, because the way it's edited, we see her start to do it, and then we get the long we get that cartoon about Lucy Liu, and then when the cartoon's done, then we go back to Uma's legs working.
She also, when she's in a coma, she has this involuntary tick where she's spitting.
Oh yeah.
That Tarantino took that from this 1970s Australian horror movie called Patrick.
Oh,
which if you've never seen, I recommend. I think I watched it years ago now, but I think Patrick is in a coma. He's a serial killer, and but very unrealistically, his eyes are open all the time.
Well, I know they're dry.
They would dry out.
Okay, then the Lucy Liu cartoon, that's also really dark, because we find out that as a little girl, she watched her mother and father be killed by this like Yakuza leader. And so, of course, that traumatizes her and she wants revenge. And so thankfully, that Yakuza leader is a pedophile. So she is in bed with this man and then kills him. It was all like, whoa. If anything, to me, the themes are more upsetting than because the violence is so stylized that it's like, it's not even meant to look realistic. So why it couldn't be in color is weird to me. But another really good scene is now that Uma is mobile, she goes to Japan. And her first stop is to get the proper sword to defeat Lucy Liu. And so she goes into this little like sushi restaurant, and I loved that scene. And do you know who that actor is?
Sonny Chiba.
I really liked him.
Mhm.
So he must be a famous actor.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I really liked him.
playing Hattori Hanzo. He's dead now. He died in 2021. But
Oh, well, his like the scene between Uma's character and him, I thought was really cute because they're just kind of playing like, oh, I'm just here to get something to eat and a little sake, and then the other guy who works in the restaurant with him, they're arguing. It was all really cute, but then all of a sudden she says, "I'm looking for a man," right?
Mhm.
And then he's like, "Well, what man are you looking for?" And then she says, "What's his name? Did I write it down?"
Hattori Hanzo,
That's right, Hattori Hanzo.
and that's him.
And that's the chef's name. So he's like, "The fuck you want with Hattori Hanzo?" And she says, I need a sword for who?
If
this
you
man.
If you want to see him when he's younger, you should watch maybe one of the Street Fighter films, but he's also in Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Oh. But then he realizes who she's trying to get, and so he's like, okay. And so he shows her his sword. I mean, that was just a really good scene. And then he finally agrees, like, I'll do it, but it's going to take me a month. So you can just stay here and you're going to need the practice. And then when he gives her the sword, I thought like that scene was really good because it's very ceremonial and yeah.
But yes, I can't wait for you to see Elle Driver's training in Kill Bill Volume 2.
Oh.
And how she lost her pretty little eye.
Okay, so I think this movie is excellent, but the weakest part to me is the Lucy Liu character.
I mean, she's fine to me, but I guess I can understand in comparison.
Oren Ishii. So she's become the leader of the Yakuza in Tokyo. So first we get a scene that's like, well, how? So you might be wondering, how did this like half Japanese, half Chinese American lady become the leader of the Yakuza in Japan?
The vice Yakuza, yeah.
And then we get the story where she was like, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Not unlike how Uma's character kills 2 people in her hospital room. Is somehow able to get into a wheelchair and roll out of the hospital into the pussy wagon. And then she sits in that truck for 13 hours.
They didn't come luck for Buck's truck.
But certainly someone would have discovered the 2 dead bodies. There would have been a lockdown. They would have seen that his keys are missing. They would have gone to his truck. But either way, they don't explain how Lucy Liu's even sitting at the table to be the leader.
Right.
But then they show how she was able to maintain her power because another one of the leaders, like a subsection, he questions her nationality. And he basically says, like, I don't know how the hell half Japanese, half Chinese American is running the show. And she gets up and decapitates that man. And then says, okay, I can see how, the director thought like, oh, we'll get this like pretty sweet lady to like the juxtaposition of this visual and the way she sounds with being this badass. But to me, it just felt like she's playing. And I think that's why I didn't like it.
Sure.
And then I didn't find her as interesting as the cartoon we watched. Like that was very interesting. I was expecting someone very broken. And in fact, Lucy Liu's character has a bodyguard, this 17-year-old girl named Gogo. And I thought Gogo was more interesting. Like Gogo seems like what I think a young girl who watched her parents be murdered and then killed the pedophile who was about to molest her. I expected that young lady to turn into Gogo.
Yeah, I could have. I feel like I would have liked some scenes between Oren and her protege, played by Chiaki Kuriyama, who is of course in Battle Royale. So I believe that's why Tarantino was able to sought her out. But as much as kung fu films, with Sonny Chiba and of course Bruce Lee being an influence in here, he's clearly a fan of Lady Snowblood from Toshiya Fujita, but also, and you've never seen these, but I do have the box set Arrow Video put out of a very entertaining series of films called the Female Prisoner Scorpion films about this female assassin, which some of the things that happen in those films are just crazy. But he's clearly a fan of those. So I think those are incorporated. I liked how the energy of that of those films are incorporated with O-Ren. But I do think, yes, she, Lucy Liu's a little bit sanguine, I guess, here.
So
Sedate.
The famous House of Leaves sequence. So it starts off well because we get Uma walking in. Lucy can sense something's weird. She sends Gogo after her ass, and then Gogo and Uma. Well, first, so Gogo attacks Uma with this like ball and chain, and I thought that scene was really good.
Great scene, yes.
And then Lucy goes, "Oh, you didn't think it'd be that easy to get with me or get at me." So then all of a sudden, like all these people come, like 100 people, or is it actually crazy 88?
It's well, I didn't count, but I'm assuming it's
so. Let's
88.
say it's 88 people. They show up, and then we get this long, like 7-minute, I don't know how long it is, scene of in black and white of Uma just killing everyone. And I will say, after like 2 minutes, it's like, okay.
But some of the slow-mo shit with the axes going back and forth, Uma doing all these flipping, like I think Uma, whose stunt double is Zoe Bell, who would then be given a plum role in Death Proof after this.
It's well done. I saw that it took like 2 months to shoot that, and like it looks like a lot went into it. So I'm not questioning the quality of it. It's just for my own, and not unlike when I watch the John Wick films and they always have that one big long action sequence.
Yes.
It's like, okay,
God.
Technically it's impressive, but it's like, how many times am I going to see this sword being swung? Right. So for my taste, it's.
But compare the choreography of that to Old Guard 2.
Oh, again, to be clear, because I know I'm going to get nasty comments, Kill Bill Volume 1 is excellent. Yes. I did really enjoy it. I'm just, I'm not giving it 5 out of 5, so I have to explain myself.
Oh, okay.
So we get that scene, and I thought it ends in a really cute way because the final person trying to fight Uma is this kid. He looks like a teenager. And Uma doesn't kill him. She spanks him with her sword. And she said, go home. And see, this is what you get for messing around with the Yakuza. Okay. Then now Uma can get to Lucy Liu. And Lucy Liu has walked out of the House of Leaves into this beautiful garden, and it's snowing. And I thought that was beautiful. And then she fights Lucy Liu. I thought that was while I thought it was beautiful, I still think Lucy Liu's a little sleepy for this. And of course, Uma kills her ass by like scalping her
with her Hanzo sword. Yes.
Yeah. So of course that was satisfying.
I think, obviously shout out to Robert Richardson, the cinematographer, who, I don't know. Yeah, there's a visual feast, but I think there's, of course, a violent beauty to that. And I love how you get a couple times the sound of that trickling water.
Oh, with that thing that hits. Yeah. Yes, actually. Yeah, that is very memorable. But the scene ends with Uma spares someone else, Sophie
Fatale, yeah,
who is Lucy Liu's like right-hand person and lawyer. And she spares her because she says, I want you to go back. Well, she spares her for 2 reasons. She says one is to get some intel, but the main reason is so she can go back and tell Bill what she did. I need someone to make sure they know, and their children's children know that I fucked everybody up. But I'm hoping we find out in Kill Bill Volume 2, because Uma tells Sophie, if I think you're not telling me the truth, I'm going to cut off a part of your body. Which was giving me Sigourney Weaver in The Assignment.
Oh, yeah.
How you don't, spoiler for The Assignment, Sigourney's character has her fingers cut off, but you don't learn that until the very end. But the reveal is worth the wait.
Yeah, that's a dumb movie, but it's fun.
But in Kill Bill Volume 1, Sophie, you can tell that something happened to her because they don't show her body except her face and like decolletage. But I'm assuming we're going to find out
more things were cut off.
Yes. Yeah. So I thought that was I need to wrap this up because we're at an hour. We're at 90 minutes. But thinking about the Old Guard 2 and how that film ended in such an unsatisfying way. And I said in my pull quote, like, the Old Guard 2 did not leave me pining to know what's happening in the Old Guard 3.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do some bullshit like this is how you do it.
Well, now, because I haven't watched either Kill Bill film in, well, God, has it been 20 years? So now I'm very excited to revisit Kill Bill Volume 2.
Well, yes. So that's the point I'm making, is that it's like, this is how you, and I know that Quentin Tarantino didn't intend for it to be 2 parts, but once he showed the studio this 4.5 hour movie, they thought, let's split it. But considering that it wasn't originally meant to be that, I think it's just a testament to how well he handled this very basic plot, such that you cut the shit in half and it's like, I am very satisfied with what I just watched, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how she deals with the other 3.
And I don't mean to, like, as I said, he kind of, is into pastiche and plucking and borrowing, but he does always make it his own, even though you can see very obviously sometimes where inspiration comes from. But like, because the most basic element of this plot, this bride that is planning revenge, that's Francois Truffaut's The Bride Wore Black with Jean Moreau.
Oh.
Where, she's also, her groom is killed on their wedding day and she has to track. That's a very sleepy film, however.
I had also called out the editing. I think whoever did the editing did a really good job.
Isn't that Sally Menke?
And then the production design, because, on Wikipedia, it says the budget is $30 million. I don't know if that's for the entire project or was it, I mean, if the budget was $30 million to create both movies, I mean, it looks so much more expensive than that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the little things they do to save money, like the airplane that Uma's on is clearly like a model plane.
But I love how it looks. I
love how it looks because it looks fake.
Yeah.
And so that, I mean, it's just, I feel like there's so many textures to the movie, and that really adds, that's how you make something simple. I'm not going to call this movie elegant, but like very effective and engaging.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, good job.
And then an original score from Tarantino's buddy RZA.
The RZA.
The RZA.
What would you give Kill Bill Volume 1?
4.
Yeah, I think it's excellent. I would give it 4. Okay, so I know there's stuff happening next week. I know we're seeing
Superman.
We're seeing Superman. We're seeing Eddington. Yeah.
A couple screeners of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you reading anything?
I'm about halfway done with The Thornbirds.
Wow.
I mean, it's epic, and some days there's not time to read, but yes, I can't wait to finish it so we can watch Mr. Chamberlain.
Great.
And Barbara Stanwyck.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I'll have to look it up. I believe Stephen King, because I surpassed
Stephen King,
credited a passage in Thornbirds as being truly horrific about this rotting dead body of a character named Mary Carson. I'll have to look that up before we watch and record on Thornbirds. But anyway, yeah.
All right. Ta-ta.